They're always losing kids. Always losing kids. Well, let's start starting.
No, that will not be. That's only thing that is different. Ready?
Yep.
Everybody ready? You ready? Yeah.
Let me just drop it so you guys can at least see what I'm gonna start talking about and how I would see it facilitating our best needs here.
Sure.
Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and call our regular meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It is 6:01, and if you'll stand, we'll say the pledge. Mark, you want to lead us this evening?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all board members are present in person this evening. And we can begin with our recognitions if we have any.
No recognitions this evening, and we have delayed, we've rescheduled the presentations.
Okay, so we're going to forego our presentations this evening until
Yeah,
our
we
next
can-
meeting.
Yeah, we can drop down to good news.
Good news. Yeah. All right. Any good news anyone would like to share? We're just sharing good news right now, so we're good. That's all right.
It's not
None.
raining at the moment.
Right. No flooding at the moment, so that's good.
No snow.
Okay, we'll move on then. Informational items, special meeting on Thursday. Well, we'll move for that. Let's move to today. Special meeting on Tuesday, February the 18th, beginning at 4. This would have been at Lavalette, it says. That's not.
No, that's this
Okay.
coming Tuesday.
What is today? 13th. We have rescheduled this meeting so many times, I don't even know what day it is. So you'll have to forgive me for that. So this is a special meeting on Tuesday, February the 18th, beginning at 4 at Lavalette. That's an LSIC meeting as well. Winter break, February 21st through February 24th. And then we have a regular meeting on Tuesday, February 25th, beginning at 6 in the board conference room. Moving on to our construction project updates.
So the work at the Wayne Elementary School, the 3-room pre-K addition continues. When last we spoke and we were there last week, they were getting ready to start putting steel on top of the building. Of course, with all the weather, it continues to be delayed. So they are still working on getting the steel on top of the building to get it under roof. The Wayne High School VOAG structure that we're looking at constructing, we are awaiting for the specs from McKinley, our architects, and I'm expected to have those in hand this week. We will go over those specs, see if there's any changes that we want to make. And so I should be able to give you an update on those at the next board meeting. And then finally, the Buffalo K-8 project, the NEEDS project. It is still under design. Our last design meeting was with the kitchen designers, and that meeting went very well. And so we're making progress. We're now working on trying to secure the right of way to the property and making sure that the traffic routes are appropriate. And so we're in talks right now with some different landowners regarding some different ideas for setting up a way to move a lot of traffic through that piece of property. And again, I'll be able to update you more at the next board meeting, but that's the movement we have with the construction projects right now.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to our delegations this evening. How many do we have?
We have 2 delegations, and Mr. Johnson requested that he's going to go second, I think.
Okay.
And so,
It seems like there's a lot more people you're interested in something else than I am, but I think you'll be interested in what I have to say also.
Well, let me just give you some information on our delegation. We have a 30-minute window to do our delegation. That gives each participant 5 minutes or less, just depending on how many we have. Since we only have 2 this evening, you'll get the full 5 minutes. And just to let you know that we are gathering information here. We're going to listen. We may have a question or two to clarify some information that we've heard. But as far as responding, or being able to talk about anything or debate anything, we're unable to do that. So this is just an opportunity for you to air your concerns or your information, and we'll take all that back with us. We'll meet with the superintendent, and he will meet with you or call you and discuss all the findings once we're finished with that. Okay? So we're not ignoring you or anything. I just want to let you know, just by law, we're not allowed to interact with anything that's not on the agenda. Okay? So we'll begin with,
I think the majority of folks are here for the Fort Gay gym.
okay,
And so I think we have a representative from the group that's going to speak for the group, correct? Come on up. Yeah, just come up towards the front,
sure.
just where we can hear you well.
Yes.
And if you just let us know your name.
Okay, my name is Brittany Britt. I am the president of Fort Gay Youth Basketball, president of Mountain Thunder Volleyball, and cheer coordinator for Charleston Youth League Football. I brought along with me rosters for our basketball and volleyball program. There's yearly around 300 to 350 kids involved in that.
That just didn't feel like a public
I was
meeting
just saying, like,
to specifically.
you understand, you, of all the people should understand about the opportunities that they have over there that we don't.
From recess, I just need a motion.
Motion.
Thank you,
Second.
Randy. Johnita? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We return at 6:41. Okay, back to superintendent reports.
Okay, so next up on the list is, we've been doing some budget discussions from different departments. So next up is our pre-kindergarten services. Jason Cox.
So, we have not got our pre-K new comps for this time, but I did give you all the comps from last time. So we use our early childhood comps to use for our per child amount. This is how we judge our funding sources for our contracts, especially for our Playmates contracts. This is what we use. So I gave you a copy of that. So if you look on page 3 of that,
Do you have one more?
yeah, I gave yours is right here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was an agenda. My fault.
On page 3, it shows you the per child amounts. So if you look down there on Wayne, it was $6,555. This is last year's contract. So 85% of that is what we use. And that's what we pay per pupil to Playmates. So that last year was $5,772. So that's where we came up with the figure for last year, and they had 180 students. They served last year as of October the 1st. So we're always a year behind. So how many students they served this year as of October 1st is what they'll get paid for next year. Next year, like I said, we're always a year behind.
Gotcha.
Okay, so just for clarification purposes, we are receiving $6,555, and that's higher than the K through 12
I was
allotment.
gonna say regular.
So we're receiving $6,555 per pupil for pre-K services, and we're required to have community partners to provide pre-K services out in the throughout the district.
Yes,
And so we partner with Playmates and Head Start.
that's correct.
And the way that the Playmates contract is set up is that we pay them 85% of that $6,555 for every student that they serve. And you said that, did I hear you say 180 students?
180 students is what they did on, that was last year's contract for this current year that we paid them as of this school year we're in right now.
Okay.
What, how is that done on a bid? Is that a bid process?
No, it's not a bid
Why
process. We don't bid the preschool out.
Why
So
not?
basically,
Why
it's
not?
just not a bid project. Like, you have to utilize current operating process. So classrooms are operating annually. So if a new program would come about, like, okay, Noah's Ark. So if Noah's Ark would like to become a public pre-K, they would have to adopt our curriculum. They'd have to hire teachers who are certified. They would have to, then we would join into our program. We would have to then make sure that they're certified, and we could actually operate as a pre-K program into their center. So I would adopt them as a classroom within ours. So we go through the same process as this.
Wow.
So it's not a bid project. It's basically just
Partnership where they have to
So,
comply with the rules that we have to comply
so
with.
you said 185 students,
180.
180 students are at Playmate. And is that, how many facilities does Playmates operate within our schools? I mean,
Not within our schools, they only have one classroom within our school,
where is that, a Buffalo?
CK Elementary School.
CK Elementary School?
Yes.
So,
And then they operate their
Westmoreland.
own buildings.
Except for the
Westmoreland Playmates
Westmoreland.
building. Yes.
How many, how many rooms are in our facility at Westmoreland?
Well,
3?
there's 2 in Westmoreland Playmates. Sorry, I was thinking like actually because I think Playmates buildings.
Right.
Sorry. There's 2 at Playmates at Westmoreland. There's 3 at Buffalo Playmates, which is their own facility. They have Canova Playmates as one classroom. Cerrito Playmates as one classroom.
Lavalette,
Lavalette has 2 classrooms there. There's 10 classrooms total for them.
how many?
10, with the possibility of 200 students.
now, do we partner with Southwestern
Yes.
as well? And that's for,
Head Start services.
okay,
They provide Head Start services in all classrooms. They can provide Head Start services even within our child care centers as well. They service underprivileged children. So they also do, with working with Southwestern, they can even go out to homes and work with families that actually like weatherization. So it's a long list for those families. It might be 2 to 3 years. They will actually go in and weatherize a house
Wow.
for them. So they do social work as well. They do things like mental health. They provide a lot of different services that we don't offer a lot for our preschool students because things like Prestera doesn't pick up kids until after they're in kindergarten. So they can have our mental health specialists come by and see kids within our school building if they're Head Start eligible.
gotcha. And Playmates has this many classrooms with us because they have agreed to the partnership and they comply with the state standards and
Yes.
curriculum.
So,
So any company that would want to do pre-K services that is willing to do that could come in and be partners as well,
Yes.
correct? So it's not like a monopoly.
It's something that has to be done annually, so anybody is willing to. We had talks with, actually in Fort Gay, the guy that's over at Coalfield.
Yeah.
He was looking into that for a while.
Okay,
So he was
That was
asking about all the
reference in
regulations
the
okay,
and was wanting to know all the details. So I was providing with all the details that he would have to do to start up his own. And then he decided not to. So he was asking for everything, but I could not guarantee like moving one of my teachers out of a building and moving them over into the classroom. That was something I wasn't, wanting to do, moving them out of the school into another building.
right.
But that was something that he was asking for us to do, and I didn't want to move them out of the school building. But
So we have some control, I guess,
yes,
over,
we do have some control as that goes, but like some things are out of our control. I go through also a procedural manual. This is our procedure manual that goes along with policy 2525. Policy 2525 is what dictates preschool health plan. It states in there how we handle each section of policy 2525.
okay,
We have to have 14. 14 is divided up into 3 people. One, me, I represent both special ed and gen ed for the county. And then also have Jeanette Barker, who's our DHHR representative. She's our only childcare in the system, so she's the only one that we have that can represent childcare. And then we also have Mary Olson, who is our Head Start representative. She's the pre-K staff member for them. She represents Southwestern. Southwestern runs over 4 different counties, so they have a major program, which is, like I said, spread throughout 4 different counties.
okay.
So we have 6 Head Start classrooms.
so Mr. Alexander, what's our regular student ratio from state funding, not counting the pre-K? What's it stand at right now? Just for,
Are you talking about the dollar amount
yes,
per child?
yes.
Roughly, and I'm speaking from memory, roughly 5,500.
So the 6,500 that we are giving to Playmates, that's in addition to the
We don't give them 60.
We give them 85% of that.
85% of that, okay,
Right.
which would be, I'm sorry.
We
which would
keep,
be-
we keep 15%.
What's 85% of
I
65?
think it was 5,000.
772.
Yeah, I think it was like 5,000. If I'm mistaken, I'm pulling the notes from my head.
Okay, that's all, just wanted an idea
Right.
5,772, yeah.
compared to the other one.
So it's relatively close to our, why do we get more for pre-K
It's
services?
very expensive.
Okay,
I mean, it really is.
Right.
We have to have.
because
it's
the class
mandated-
sizes are
It's, classrooms cannot go over 20
20,
kids.
okay,
It's mandated less. And if I have one preschool child in a classroom, I have to have 2 adults. I
okay,
could not be by myself.
Right.
You could not be by yourself with a classroom with one child in a pre-K classroom.
okay.
So.
So it's automatic, 2
it's
staff
automatic,
members?
2 adults,
No,
no matter how many kids.
okay,
So in kindergarten classrooms, 10 kids, 1 adult.
right,
No, don't matter. If it's 5 kids, 2 adults.
okay. So it's automatically 2 staff
Automatic,
members
okay.
per class?
Yep.
And there's 10 classes that Playmates has, so they have 20 adults, no matter how many
No matter
kids we
how-
have. Okay,
Now, if you go back to, and Jason, if I'm getting you off track, just let me know. But if we go back to page 1, this is very similar to the preliminary comps that we look at for the entire district for the K through 12 program. But you can see that it has our, for Wayne, it has the net early childhood enrollment. So there were a total of 341 students enrolled in the district. It has the related number of professional personnel allowed. And so we are allowed to have 24.72 professional personnel in the program.
mhm,
Just cut off my head.
Right. you just need 3/4 of your body.
Yeah.
Service personnel were allowed 17.48. And then school support personnel, that's SSP, that's counseling type positions, were allowed 1.71.
Where did they get those figures at?
I know, right,
You can't have fractions of bodies.
right,
Yeah. Now, what's difficult, and we frequently talk about numbers over formula and being out of formula.
Yeah.
The number of professional personnel that we actually have operating in the program, Jason, is how many?
We have 21 teachers, and then we also have 32 total aides because we have special education classrooms,
Ah.
we do full inclusion classrooms. So you automatically have 21 assistants, and then because we have special education students in our classrooms,
Some of them,
some classrooms we have to require
Yeah.
extra adults. Like here at Pritchard, we have 3 adults in the classroom.
okay,
Anytime you have kids who are in diapers, which we potty train,
right.
you can't
Exactly.
leave a kid in the classroom by themselves.
Right.
So
Sometimes we have 2 or 3.
Two-
Yeah. yeah, so
So-
you have to take the kids out to change them. You have to take them to the bathroom. Your teacher
right,
can potty
somebody
train.
has to be in there.
Somebody asked me one time, like, it doesn't take that long to take and change a diaper. I'm like, okay, but it's like this. All right, unbutton your pants, pull down your pants, sit on the one. You're
Yeah.
actually walking them through each step.
Right.
So it's a 15-minute process to potty train a child
Right,
5 times a day.
right. So you can't
You do that
all day long. Somebody's in charge of
So
it.
yeah, somebody's in the toilet all day long.
Right.
So one person is in that bathroom all
So you
day
gotta have,
long.
gotta
job
have
I
a
do.
secondary, right?
Nobody understands the problems we go through.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. Not until
No,
you're in
they
there. Everybody thinks preschool's so easy. That's what we were actually, me and one of my teachers was talking about today. They're like, I think everybody business thinks it's going to be like, I just make copies
Simple
and play
thing.
all day long. And they get in there like, I smell diapers. And they leave.
It's happening, it's
Yeah.
happening.
Jason, there's 32 service personnel in the
Yes.
program, but we're actually paying for how many positions? Is it 26 or 27?
26 is what we're paying for.
Okay, and that's because Head Start picks up funding for some of those positions.
Yes, they pay for 7 completely. We are not paying for any of those things.
Okay. So that overfunding formula, it applies to our pre-K as well, correct?
Yeah, on the service side.
On the service side. We're 3 and 0.72 under on professional, but over on the service.
And we do, we have some administrative positions that are associated. So you have Jason's position, and then there's,
I have 3 itinerant teachers as well. So there's actually 24 teachers.
Okay, so we're-
30, yes.
Okay, plus 3
There's
at 10.
24 teachers because I have 3 itinerant teachers who goes out and service any Gen Ed classroom that might have a special education student in the classroom that doesn't need as intense services. They have developmental delays that they don't have as intense. They can be in a Gen Ed classroom, or they've already started in, say, my classroom. I have a Gen Ed teacher, the child already started with me. I put in referral. I'm not gonna say, well, you have to go to that classroom now. You can't be in my classroom anymore.
Gotcha,
No, they're gonna stay with me, but then I itinerant teacher will come in and service.
gotcha.
So if you see to the far right, you see the budget for the program is set at 1.259. But with the overages in the program, the actual budget is 1.4. So that's something as we go into budget season that we'll be taking a close look at. Just trying to get that gap
Yeah.
shrunk.
It's hard with special ed and pre-K.
It's hard. We had, the problem that we've had this year is, our local, it's called RAU, it's just our regional 4, Bertha 3. Their referrals have dropped, which can be, it's a bad thing for us because that means in 2 years, we're gonna have a big uptick in special ed numbers.
Yeah.
They're gonna come into school without having that early intervention. But we're not getting those easily identified kids right now. So we're going to be lower, it looks like right now in the next 2 years, but all of a sudden we're going to have a big increase.
Hmm.
So that's my only fear, because like in 1 month, we generally have like at least 7 to 8 referrals. I have 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where's these 5 kids?
Yeah.
So we're in that referral season right now that we're 400, I think our RU said they're like 475 kids behind on getting referrals. And some kids are even aged out of Berkeley 3 and they never got tested. So it's pretty sad right now. So.
Scary times.
So the contract with Head Start is cheaper than the contract with Playmates because Head Start also receives
They receive federal funding.
federal funding
Yes.
to help provide the program. So that lessens the burden that the county has for those costs.
Yes. And also, they also spend funding for us as well. So they will use their federal funding. So like I said before, Head Start will go into some of our county classrooms. They're collaborative with every pre-K classroom that we have as far as a county classroom. I call them county classrooms. I hate using that title because they're all pre-K classrooms.
Yeah.
But our county-owned classrooms, all except for Pritchard. Sorry, Jenny. I'm still trying. I've been working on it. I'm really working on it. Because we're 95% collaborative. If I get Head Start coming into her classroom, then we'll be 100% collaborative again. But that means they can just provide us with more help.
Yeah.
So they've purchased new materials. They're going to be purchasing all the new furniture for Wayne Elementary
Wow,
for the classrooms.
awesome.
So I mean, they're really
Yeah.
helping us out a
That's
lot.
fantastic.
Sure are.
Yeah, so they sent me a thing just actually the last hour I was working. They sent me about $7,000 of some tables and chairs they're ordering. So they're looking to order some more furniture. So I know they're going to spend a lot of money for Wayne Elementary on that new, on those new classrooms. So that's saving us a ton of
Yeah,
money.
it's fantastic.
So
And what determines whether we can have a Head Start program or,
So they look at several different things. So one, they have to look at the income of the families.
Yeah.
Is there enough kids to service here? So, and then the safety of the children. So Head Start really looks at the playgrounds. Playgrounds is the number big thing, okay? So the playground here is generally a 5 through 12. It's considered 5 through 12. It's not 2 through 12. It's considered 5 through 12.
Okay.
So my kids technically should not be playing on that playground.
gotcha,
Okay, they did fence in a separate area. However, the area that they fenced in, while it's appropriate and while it's safe, there is like 2 little things on there that not necessarily is kosher, but they are up to Head Start standards. Head Start is very, very
Particular.
particular.
Well,
gotcha.
Very particular.
Gotcha.
Like to the point that it makes me cringe.
Yeah.
So
We really tried
Yeah.
to get them to come
they don't
in.
like swings. They don't like certain things. I'm like a certain person.
have they never
They
been a
take out all
kid?
the fun.
Right.
I had a Head Start person come to Wayne before, and she was like this federal inspector, and I was like, "Here's our playground." She was, "Where's it at?" I said, "You're standing in it." She goes, this is a yard. I said, that's all we have right now. We're working on the playground. She
Doing
goes, well,
fast.
it's safe.
That's
I was like,
safe.
I know, it's the safest playground out here because there's nothing to do.
I guess we
So-
could do that outside, find
Yeah.
a nice patch of grass and.
Yeah,
do
that's
the
all it
dance.
is basically right
Yeah.
now, but
Right,
they will not accept the little hikes.
Yeah.
That's a big no-no.
People donated little types, houses and stuff. so
Right.
They have something to do.
They will not accept.
not acceptable.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
acceptable. So until they will do like a 2 through 5, and it has to be labeled, it has to be deemed completely like playground installed safety, and if those specs are met, and then they come in and observe it and they inspect it. and then
This
they put
stuff's
it in the
expensive
family.
too.
Right. Gotcha. Okay,
I work on it every year.
Right.
So, but I think Lisa's been out to see it before, but she's not. So,
We do have it big enough. We
Yes.
got it smaller, so we got it bigger. We can work from there.
just working on it every year,
plugging
chipping
away.
away.
That's all you can do, right?
chipping away at it.
We appreciate it. Sorry, anything
Do you have
else?
any other questions?
Kind of hijacked you there.
Mark, you have any questions?
I'll probably get back with you at some point.
Hey, anytime. Feel free. It's,
There's a lot of things I don't understand. I'll be honest
Listen,
with you with them.
if you ever want to go to, I'm sure I could probably invite y'all, ask Janet. I'm sure she wouldn't mind, but like, she can probably come talk if y'all want. She's our state pre-K coordinator. Because every year we host a annual new core team member training because core teams change
Yeah.
over the years, and we have the most stable since I've been here, it's been 10 years running for me. So we've had the same 10 years members, but every year there's a new member and everyone's like, it's going to change this way. And they're like, I'm sorry, it's not. So they have a technical assistance team that comes in and kind of like goes over everything with people. So that's something that I'm sure she would come in and do.
I guess, Jason, the one question that I don't know, it just keeps coming to my mind, is it a law, a state school board policy that says we have to have X amount of private or whatever?
Collaborative, yeah.
What is that? Where is that? Give me a number. You know, what I'm saying?
It just has to be 50% collaborative in the county.
Says who?
Policy 2525. It's clear in there. I promise you.
Oh, I believe
And
you.
I'll see if I can find it tonight, and
I'm just saying, I believe you, but I want to know because,
and it's not very a long policy. I mean, you can
Right.
read it,
right.
but-
I just
Trust
want to
me,
know,
First time
Easy
teacher,
words.
I read that policy front and back. I wanted to make sure
I
knew
want
it.
to know why we have to abide by that whenever we're putting $1.2 million into Playmates, when we could have our own pre-K people. That's the part I have an issue with, just to be honest with you.
The whole
Because we're
reason
providing, this is a 501c3, supposedly,
Mhm.
the Playmates.
Mhm.
We're providing the heating, the cooling, $1.2 million roughly, then $200-some thousand food, roughly a year. I believe we could staff a pre-K throughout our county with that much money, personally. So if it's a state school board policy, a federal policy, or a state law,
it's not federal.
so it's
because
state.
It's state. It's not federal because we're one of the top few states that have a very strict procedure for a preschool. NEAR, which is the National Institute for Early Education Resource Center, they do a lot of research over all of early childhood. We are in the top 5. We might have dropped to 6, but I know we're at least in the top 10 still. I'll say that much. I can guarantee that. We were in the top 5 of preschool programs throughout the nation. West Virginia was, because of how strict we were on everything.
We've got a major issue
And
nationwide. I think you.
So, well, I know, but I'm just saying for preschool. I'm talking about pre-K.
Right.
I don't care about everything else.
Right,
My
but-
job is for 3 and 5.
I understand,
year-olds.
but that's step one,
Okay.
and then we go through
I
the
know.
rest of the steps.
I'm just saying, like, that's for me. But I'm just saying, like, what we talk about for us is that's why. So a lot of times, we have those parts figured out. Now, everything else, maybe not so much. But when Policy 2525 came out in 2002,
And this is a state school board policy,
state pre-K
Well,
policy,
but
Yeah, it would be
25.
state school board.
Yes.
but they're under the state school board. So
And it was put in place, did you say 2002?
2002, they gave school boards 10 years to get this enacted. So this was done, I started teaching in 2008. So this is before I even finished, teaching. By 2012, they had to have everything in place for pre-K. So that's when
Including
they-
50% collaborative.
Yes.
I'm
So that's
not,
what it
I'm
is.
not,
Okay.
don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I'm not questioning you whatsoever. I'm not that in no way, shape, or form. But I just think it's an awful lot of money that Wayne County Schools puts into a private, they might call it 501c3, and that's fine if it is a 501c3, without me knowing what the salary of the director is, what the salary of their staff is. Can you provide that? Do I have to file freedom of information? What do I need to go about?
I can get you budget sheets. They
Yeah.
provide annual budget sheets to me.
There's just a lot of questions
Yeah.
because we're looking at things that across our county where we may have to lay off teachers this spring and lay off service personnel, but we're putting that kind of money into that. And it bugs me. It bugs me a lot.
What is the what do you think the history of the policy is? Why that was put in place, the 50%?
So the 50% was to keep, when preschool, they started talking about this universal preschool. They wanted to start a pre-K program. Child Cares, Head Start, they all got worried. They're like, don't run us out of business. Because, all these private pre-Ks, all these Child Cares was providing, and Head Start was already providing. Head Start's been doing this since 1963.
Yeah, right.
They didn't want to run out. They wanted all these counties were going to rush in and start opening up all these county classrooms. What was going to happen to Head Start? Well, Head Start was all these underprivileged.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, if you've got a chance to go to a free school, or you can go to this little Head Start building with all the poor kids,
Yeah, right.
they're going to send them to the school. So they didn't want that to happen. So they said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We have to collaborate. Everybody has to get together. It's going to be universal. So a lot of times, that's why I tell my principal all the time, don't say that's the Head Start classroom, that's the county classroom,
Yeah.
that's the Playmates classroom. That's our pre-K classrooms. That's why I keep saying that and preaching that, because it's universal pre-K. Because that's why they wanted to do away with this whole stinging on
Separate.
where it's separate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yes.
That's why they did that.
I don't particularly agree with the way that it's done, but I think it should
Right,
just
I
be,
get it.
I think it should be pre-K throughout Wayne County. Wayne County pre-K, Ramble Wayne County schools, for Wayne County kids, by Wayne County people.
I understand.
And you could be the coordinator, supervisor, whatever, director. But yeah, this is something I'm gonna have to deal with, and I'm gonna do a lot of research because it really does bother me.
I
It
understand.
really does. And I get calls continuously, and I get texts. I get people stopping me and saying, this. We're talking about doing this. We're talking about doing this, but here's this. Can't justify it.
If you have questions, call me. If I
Sure.
don't have the answer,
I
I'll call
appreciate
Janet.
it.
She'll answer for me. She's
Appreciate
like thebomb.com. Really, honestly.
Who's that?
Janet Bockhager.
Yeah.
She's the state person that's over there. She worked for Head Start for many years. And she is now the state pre-K coordinator.
Okay.
But you can even email her, I'm sure.
Thank you.
No problem.
thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, honey. Be
All
careful.
right, y'all don't need me. I'm out of here.
Out of
See
here.
ya.
All right.
Thank you.
We're right behind you.
All right. Any other superintendent reports?
Yeah, going back to your packet,
Yes,
I had provided you on the first page a letter, and I think I emailed this to you already, but I wanted to provide it this evening as well. So,
vaccine.
yeah, we've discussed at a previous meeting, the governor had issued an executive order 725 for religious exemptions for immunizations. And the advice that when you first looked at that executive order, it ordered the Bureau for Public Health to come up with a plan for religious exemptions. And that's what the executive order was. And so at the time, we remained under our same immunization requirements. And that recently changed. I'd received a notification from the Department of Education that the Bureau for Public Health will be issuing certified letters regarding religious exemptions. And they will notify the school in writing or by mail when an exemption is granted. And then when parents bring that certified letter from the Bureau of Public Health granting the exemption, that's going to be given to our school nurses who are in charge of making sure that the immunizations are all correct. And then we move forward from there. But if they do have that exemption from the Bureau for Public Health, they are entitled to enroll in school. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. And then in that separate packet, we've already went over the interest in the properties. And then there was also a form that indicated that from the IRS talking about the Coalfield Family Services showing their 501(c) status. And then the last letter is a letter from the Department of Education Finance Office. We've been talking about our decrease in our carryover budget. And so the Department of Education Finance Office had contacted me by letter to let us know that, they've noticed the same decrease that we've talked about in several meetings and that we're on the watch list. And they indicated, as we've talked about several times, is that excess staffing compensation funded from the general fund has led to that decline. And so the last time we were on a watch list was 2017, 2018. I think it was around that time that we came off. And with all the projects that have been completed and the continuing loss of enrollment and the overage numbers on the personnel, that's impacted our carryover. So we just need to be mindful of that. And we talked about that this was coming. So anyway, I've received that this week and just wanted to notify you of it.
Thanks, Todd.
And they strongly suggest in the letter that, as we go into personnel season, that we are mindful of those numbers over formula. It says an analytical review of staffing numbers should be the board's top priority during the upcoming personnel season. And of course, that's already underway. And we took some significant action last year, and that action will continue this year. That's all I have.
No board directives or board reports. No unfinished business. Let's move on to our new business consent action items. Superintendent recommends approval of the following action items. Additional items received prior to the time of the meeting may be added. Discussion and or separate action of items may be requested by members of the board and or the superintendent. Items are subject to change. Any blanks will be filled in prior to the meeting. In the event a nominee withdraws, we reserve the right to put the next candidate in that position. Number one, consider for approval the recommended personnel matters on pages 1 and 2.
And that will be as revised. And the only thing that has changed is the effective dates because the meeting was moved from Tuesday to Thursday.
I make a motion to approve.
As revised.
I'll second it.
Motion by Johnita, second by
I have-
Dennis.
Some questions though.
As revised. Questions?
Todd?
Yeah.
With these FMLAs, is our personnel department checking to see if they've got that time from the year before that they can get this? Are they on top of that?
Yes.
Because it seems like there's several people that are just taking them,
Multiple.
multiple FMLAs. So I just want to know if they're watching it.
Yeah. And because there have been some that have been denied because
Okay,
of
good.
it.
That's
So
what I wanted
I
to
do
know.
know that they are checking it.
Okay, and another, are we just getting this resignation from effective January 31st? Our multi-categorical, whatever.
All the
Have we not had
autism teacher at
meetings
CK.
before that?
We're talking about here at the bottom, the substitute
No,
aid.
This one.
Melanie, I
Third
just
one
think
up.
that's a long time to approve of.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to check to see what the
Okay, it
delay
doesn't-
was.
Okay, I just had that question, okay? Because it seems like that's a long time to wait to get something approved.
So there was another one at the bottom there from January 29th as well.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we haven't had any regular meetings since then, have we?
Not a regular.
No,
not.
this is our first
okay,
regular
all right,
meeting.
then I
Is it-
understand.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
All those cancellations have really.
Yeah, they really messed us.
Yeah, they
up.
bumped us
it's
back a little
ruined
bit.
our
All right,
calendar.
thanks, Todd.
Okay.
Any other questions on personnel? As revised, Johnita made the motion, Dennis made the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 2, consider for approval the purchase requisition order and quotes in excess of $5,000 on pages 3 and 4.
Motion.
Motion by Randy, second. Johnita. Questions or concerns? I think I have any.
Nope. Getting that little bang.
Good. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business, separate action items. Number 1, consider for approval out-of-state travel request. Employee to travel to Indianapolis to attend an algebra PLTW on March 24th through the 26th, funded by the CTE program.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Johnita. Second,
I second.
Dennis. Any questions on the employee travel? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Potential items for a future agenda.
We've talked about
Okay.
the action on some of the properties.
Right.
And so that'll be on the future agenda. That's all I have.
Property
Okay.
action. Anyone else? All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Randy,
Ah, you beat her.
second by Johnita. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. It is 7:15. Thank you all.
Thanks to those who joined us online.
I don't have anything to just donate some crap. For one,
Okay.
and I want to tell you, I just moved here from Ohio last year,